Welcome boys and girls, Christine here with a discussion about Dechala, the Denied One, in her campaign in Total War Warhammer 3, Tides of Torment DLC. The new campaign for Slaanesh and how it plays out in the game. Now, out of the campaigns for demon factions, if we look at, say, Nurgle, if we look at Khorne, we have two demonic factions and then we have a mortal faction. Dechala is very much on the side of being the mortal faction for Slaanesh. The mask is more about the demon side of Slaanesh. So that is a crucial point to remember with regards to her, but let's first talk about her campaign dynamics. She kind of plays a bit like a cast dwarf, only for Slaanesh. So she has our settlements that can act as recruitment centers in her campaign. Right there, a Torment or Hold. So these act like low-level recruitment areas in her campaign. But low-level still gives you cast warriors of Slaanesh, demonettes, etc. Just no heroes, which is a bit of an issue to consider. They don't give you money, but they can boost your income post-battle through the Warhost Fort. So you get to recruit units, you get to also acquire certain campaign benefits. And then we have the Thrall camps. Now, the way Thrall camps work is when you take a settlement, it has a certain number of Thralls, which decrease over time as you keep control of a settlement. When they get to 0, you still keep some benefits, but many of the benefits of those Thrall camps get removed. Specifically, the economic growth benefits, or rather the economic benefits, as well as not being able to get Thralls in the global pool, which is so very important. Pretty simple. You do start with the Torment or Hold and the Hidden Landing. I would recommend getting a bunch of Thrall camps as quickly as possible. And then you have Pleasure Palaces. Now, Pleasure Palaces are limited in a campaign. You can only get so many of them, so that means your high-end unit recruitment, as well as your heroes, are going to be limited in a campaign. Really, that's probably the sign I would post over Tides of Torment. It's like, oh, you get these cool mechanics, but they are limited. Anyway, when we're looking at Pleasure Palaces, the way they function is that they require Thralls to construct buildings. You can also use Thralls to acquire Pleasure Palaces at a higher level, similar to how Cast Dwarves acquire Dark Fortresses. So it's an adaptation of Cast Dwarves for Slaanesh. That's inherently the aspect that they've gone with Dechala. Are there any issues with this system? Well, partly starting position. Yes, that is a bit of a issue. But you do have Vassalization available in her campaign, as do other Slaaneshi campaigns. So you can certainly dominate a good portion of the map using just vassals. So for instance, over here I got Gelt. And not just Gelt. Oh no, I just got Lokir and I got Snitch. So it's like, yeah, I'm running around with a good amount of power behind me. And there's a bit of an issue in that you are required to wipe out Snitch, Northern Provinces, etc. That is just weird. Like, I can understand Cafe or Snitch plus Lokir, but why both? Just a weird one from my personal perspective on that. Just a bit annoying with regards to the victory conditions that Creative Assembly has implemented for that, but truth be told, doesn't matter. I don't necessarily think so. But yeah, that is a factor you should be aware of, and you should be aware of that you are going to have to give orders through the Legion system to various factions and go for allied missions. These are more inherent issues with diplomacy in the game. Now, she did start with the cult over here in the Bamboo Crossing. So, for instance, you can just go around the Nakai and then use the cult over there to teleport Dechala to the Bamboo Crossing before Geld takes it, and then sell it to Geld to get that vassalization agreement with him. That is a viable strategy. Thrall camps also give you a benefit from resources that you do gain in them. So it's almost always worth it to get Thrall camps in locations that have resources, except of course provincial capitals. That is a different discussion. But yeah, limitations on how many settlements you can have, limitations on not really your economy, but more so like, decadence, so to speak. Because, thralls, which does translate into decadence. How does decadence work? That is the big question. Well, the structures in a pleasure palace, not the main settlement building, but the structures do produce decadence. So virtually every structure produces some level of decadence. What do you use decadence for, you might ask? Well, you use it for Tormentor's tributes. And you do have three main things over here. You have army ability similar to what Estancia gets, so buffs and debuffs that you can use, and also Dechala herself can debuff units through seduction. Her seduction doesn't give her units on her side, rather it debuffs enemy units by quite a substantial amount if you want to use that. Still costs money, still have to play like that. So her seduction is different from that perspective, but you can get these abilities otherwise. I don't necessarily think there's a lot of value in these for a long time, because Slaanesh has never had an issue in terms of winning battles. Slaanesh's problem, for the most part, has been with regards to things like casualty replenishment, campaign dynamics, as opposed to like, battles. Then you get opulent gifts. Opulent gifts are items, basically. That's essentially it. You can make these with decadence. I would have preferred money, but you can make these with decadence to get a good amount of capability in your army, like experience, improving growth, reducing control, all that kind of stuff. And then you have exquisite spoils, which give you campaign benefits all around. These are the things that I would say you should save your decadence for, because these are just significantly better than anything else. Like, is it worth to spend, say, 50 decadence for a temporary army benefit? Is it worth it to spend 500 for an item, or is it worth spending 1,000? So that's the choice. From my perspective, it's better to save it for other things. They did remove Unholy manifestations from her, which, people were complaining she had too many mechanics. I don't really feel she did, but some people were saying, I believe on Reddit and other places, that she had too many mechanics with Unholy manifestations. I'm like, okay, sure. They weren't really that beneficial, except being able to build some cults so you can move around the campaign map faster. So now we get to proliferate cults using proliferate cults button at the top. Bit annoying, sure, but not really a big deal. Just something else to add onto the pile. Then she also has boons of Slaanesh for every army. These can give you experience, ambush success chance, and armor piercing and wayfare for the Lord army, depending on which one you pick. So for instance, if I use this one, it lasts a number of turns for an army with that kind of turn cooldown. So remember, what you're picking here in terms of the benefits is going to be something you're stuck with for a number of turns, and you should play around that. Be aware of it, play around that, strategize, think about it in advance. Okay, so those are some of the Dechala mechanics specific to her. Then on top of that, she also has Demonic Attraction. It is deep in the research tree, so it's not available early on, and it is using thralls all the same. Basically, what Demonic Attraction gives you is the ability of recruiting demon units of Slaanesh for thralls. You're kind of using thralls a bit too much, because consider what we were using thralls for. We're using for pleasure palace structures. We're using, so to get decadence, we're using thralls for army abilities, or rather army buffs, and then it's like, we get to use it for units. I mean, it's cool to get the Keeper of Secrets, sure, undeniably so, but it's just that a bit of annoyance with, having to spend a lot of time unlocking this. The reason it's so annoying is because, there's some really good shit in this research tree, but the problem is, it takes a long time to get. And besides, you're probably better off going for promiscuity over here in the research tree for construction time and growth over there very quickly, and then construction costs. Those are probably just the better options, really. Just these free, nothing else. So that's going to take a good amount of time. That's kind of the issue with research. I would be fine spending thralls for some of these things rather than, having to wait so many turns, or yeah, money. Money is always good. We got a lot of money. So that would be good from my perspective. Now, in terms of other things, let's talk about the new hero and units that Dechala adds in the Tides of Torment DLC. So what we get, I'm not sure where it is actually, because I might have missed it. So with Decala's new stuff, you do get Druchii Anointed at tier 3 and Hero Capacity at tier 3 for the Drifting Tower. I believe it's tier 4 for the others. I haven't checked in a while, so bear that in mind. Take that with a grain of salt. But you also get the new units as well over here, as well as Chosen. Why would I get Devotees of Slaanesh when I got Chosen from the stream structure? Like, Devotees of Slaanesh with crossbows is a different thing, ranged units. We could really use Wallbreaker units, though. That's a bit of a problem. I'm not sure if Praetons have it. They might. Let me check. Where is that damn Praeton? Because I'm struggling to actually find the damn thing. To be honest. Okay, so that's the Praeton, and no, it doesn't have Wallbreaker. To be honest, one of the issues of Slaanesh that has existed for a long time is their siege situation, so we still don't have something like Shatterstone, we still don't have something like a Wallbreaker ability. So that is something. In terms of the Druchii Anointed, if I can find any of them somewhere, Dechala does start with one. So let's take a look at the Druchii Anointed, let's take a look at Dechala. So what Druchii Anointed do, they're a melee hero with a pretty decent level of armor, survivability, and a skill line that gives them different choices that they can go for, including things like Guardian character experience, certain bound spells, dark knowledge, melee skill line, and yes, casualty replenishment. So I would say this DLC is essential if you're going to be playing Slaanesh from that perspective. What is best? I would say probably Guardian is really good. Banished One is really good for that survival aspect. But yeah, you do have different decisions to be made here. Basically, pick whatever you think is good for you. As for Dechala herself, in terms of faction effects, she gets physical resistance for Devoted Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, upkeep for Devoted Marauders, which, you know, Chosen and Mortal units would have been kind of better, I think. Like, that's one reason Zarbal was so great. Then she can equip an additional weapon item. So she does have an armor slot. She does have an enchanted item. I actually haven't given her in this campaign a weapon because it's like Dechala by herself is really, really good in battle. Like Decala's capability in battle is ridiculous. She's got good survivability through Dagger Dance, armor, damage resistance, all that at a cost of damage capabilities, but she's still gonna be very good. Like imagine Nakari, but small entity, capable of doing a lot of damage. Yeah, she's gonna be really, really good. Then she can steal 10% experience earned by other lords. Now, this in general is a debuff, but she also gets 10% character experience for all characters anyway, faction-wide, so it cancels each other out. It just means Dechala is always the highest experience thing you have, which is general, is something you're going to have with all lords. I think they should remove this because inherently legendary lords are always going to have more experience, or reduce it to 5%. Like, what's the point of having a character experience benefit as a faction effect if you're gonna remove that with a lord effect? I'm just saying. It used to be higher, but yeah, weapon strike for all non-demonic units as well, special skill line, campaign movement range, Wayfarer, poison attacks, melee skill line, unyielding assault, dagger dance, all kinds of different benefits here as well. Casualties captured post-battles. You can also get thralls from battles, by the way. It should be pointed out that some provincial capitals do have more thralls available in them, so I believe it's 2,000, even 3,000 in some of them. So keep that aspect in mind when we're talking about Dechala. Outside of that, if we look at the Cast Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh, you get Shadows or Lord of Slaanesh. Let me actually check this out. So if we look at Cast Sorcerer Lord, yeah, Lord of Slaanesh, Lord of Shadows. Their Caster Lord, not necessarily my favorite in general. I prefer having melee lords leading armies, so Champion still very much recommended. But they're not terrible in melee, but yeah, they're more of a buffing lord because of the Cast War Shrine, and obviously the magic aspect as well. I personally prefer Cast Lords of Slaanesh, regular ones, to be used in a campaign. So that would be Dechala. in her campaign, it's okay. I mean, I think that's the best way I can sum her up. She's okay. She's not horrible. Pacing issues, sure, that's the memo on Warhammer 3 in general, but that would be about it. Costin signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications. And if you boys enjoy my content, consider throwing a donation on PayPal. Could certainly use it. Times are what they are in this day and age.